What's up, everybody? This is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you guys because I came from church late night service and I don't have my headset or my microphone. But when I came out, I got a lot of messages and text messages and things we posted on the wall today. Um, in reference to Ja Morant and in reference to a couple other people that people are trying to cancel online and all this other good stuff. And so I just had to talk about it, get it out here. I always have a lesson inside of a lesson, right? So I really want to talk to y'all about business, but I'm gonna do a little bit of, I'm gonna give you a little bit of sugar. Then I'm gonna give you the stuff. Okay, that's how we gotta do it here on YouTube. Y'all don't like real stuff out the gate. So Ja Morant, okay, I'm gonna just go personal. I'm a kid who grew up in school, military towns, moved around a lot, got bullied to the point where our family, I got kicked out of the school because I was getting ready to be into a fight. And I end up getting into a private Christian school where I learned from the Black North Carolina Association of Lawyers and Judges and Attorneys how to golf, how to play tennis, how to dress, etiquette classes, how to curtsy, how to country music two-step, how to learn other dances, all at a private school. And a lot of people will say, oh, that's ridiculous. What do those things have to do with your education? And I will tell you, to this day, the best part of my educational journey as a advanced knowledge student was going to the Christian private school, learning golf, learning tennis, learning how to curtsy, learning how to eat properly at a table, how to wear a dress, how to all the things that are required for adulthood, right? And if it wasn't for the private school, I don't particularly know where my journey would have been, because I was struggling with the bullying from school. And of course, Black people families be like, just go to school, beat them up, fight back. You know what I'm saying? That was the response. My private school said, hey, Ericka, you are so smart. And this is also for my family. Let us get you focused on a sport. So as I go back to public school, what am I doing? I'm doing soccer. I'm doing golf. I'm doing tennis, and I'm doing different things. Which in turn, the people that were kind of like in middle school trying to bully me, now they see me back in high school, are like, this is a different person. This is a different energy. And the best way I can explain it to you is when you build up your child's confidence in themselves and what they have to bring as a regular individual, they less likely seek to lower their behavior to do foolishness. When I played soccer, there were girls on the soccer team that our parents said, don't hang out with that girl over there. Don't hang out with that Latino girl over there, or this girl over there. And you'd be like, what's that about? And those same girls were pregnant. Right as the graduation hit, they was pregnant. Right? Some were pregnant before that, right? You could see the self-esteem and the mentality was better of certain kids that play sports, right? If you have a daughter, the best thing I can tell you, and I'm being really honest, every father, I had 8 male teachers over the course of my, school career. And that's because I went to a private school. And that's because I was in a military towns. So military towns have excess men in them always. And excess men sometimes become teachers, substitute teachers, because they need something to do, right? So I had 8 male teachers over the course of my career. Those male teachers didn't play. The Black teachers I had didn't play. They were, Ericka, you're too smart, but you talk too much in class. Go on back there in the back, sit down, and read another book report, do another thing, right? What does this have to do with Ja Morant? Ja Morant is a prime example of somebody whose parents, even if they're in the not greatest of a city, they put their child in private school. They put their child in a situation to win. They put them in a sport to build confidence. And he is exhibiting what a 23-year-old who wants to fit in so desperately is exhibiting. That's it, right? Like we want to go, he's trying to be hood, he's trying to be thug. It's because we over celebrate Black people having these rough stories, these rough backgrounds. Oh man, I got it out the mud. We overhype those people to the point that regular middle of the road Black kids, which is more than the poverty. I know y'all don't want to believe that, but there's 52% of Black people live in the suburbs and rural areas. So I'm from the Southeast. I saw plenty of black boys in cowboy boots and cowboy hats and pickup trucks to school. And what you gonna do about it? And they were tough and rough, and you didn't play with them. And they wore Carhartt jackets, and they did all that. Right? The spectrum of being black is huge. There's 45 million black people. You can live 45 million different ways. Right? But the fact remains is if you don't instill in your child a sense of self-confidence that they don't have to lower themselves to silly stuff to fit in, you wouldn't have this program. Because let's be honest, we could probably go find 10 more 22 to 23-year-old boys in the NBA right now who every day is basketball. Basketball is life. You know, say what you want about the Ball family and the Ball brothers and their injuries. Ball is life at that house. Sit your rump down is in play at that house. And their daddy ain't on the court trying to be cool. He's on the court fighting for his children to have a place in the NBA. Right? When your parents tell you don't hang out with them little so-called friends, they're talking about Ja Morant's friends. That's what they're talking about. Whoever these country bunkins you done pulled from the middle of nowhere in Memphis and they want to hang out, don't hang out. That's the key to this thing, right? And I was even saying reflection to our community. I remember at 25, I was going through a bunch of weddings. I mean, I'm talking about a ton of weddings. I was going every daggone weekend in the spring was a wedding. But when I was 21, 22, and 25. And what was funny is I would run into some black people and they'd be like, girl, where you going on these weddings? Who's getting married? Who's getting married this young? And I'm like, this young? Even at 25, I knew, man, what are you talking about? And this is how when you talk to people, you got to realize you're dealing with cultural issues, you're dealing with social economic issues, you're honestly dealing with people who grew up with parents in poverty. That doesn't make them a bad person, but it makes when you're trying to go out in this world and do successful things, okay, when you want to start doing collaboration with people, who are you collaborating with and why does that matter? Who is it, right? Because we'll laugh day and night and say, black people don't want to work together. No, they do. They just don't want to work with the dysfunctional, right? The dysfunction, the people trying. There you go. Diamond Dave said it perfectly. He want to be down so bad, right? Growing up, we moved to a particular. Let's go there. In Fayetteville, we moved on. My mom got lucky. She knew a friend. She bought a foreclosed house on a lake, 2-car garage, 3 beds, 3 bathrooms, downstairs, upstairs, backyard's an acre. I mean, she's living life, right? We literally had adults in the neighborhood. They never said it to our faces, kids, but they said it to their kids because we'd be on the bus and at the bus stop. Oh, yeah, my dad said your mom only over here because she must be getting alimony. Yeah. My dad said there's no way your mom's a sergeant can afford to stay in this neighborhood. Yeah. And if you look back at the price of these homes, it's comical, right? My mom did get the house half off on a foreclosure. They didn't know that. It was never none of their business. But we acted a particular way, and you could never say that we didn't belong to be in that neighborhood, right? My brother, who is 8 years older, God bless him, he literally would hang out with the hood kids. And one of the older, I guess you call them OGs or somebody that was from California, was like, why are you over here? Why are you over here? Your mama live on that side of town in that neighborhood, and half your family is cops. What the hell are you doing over here? So my brother, in effort to show he was down, was hanging out with hooligans. You dig what I'm saying? And so when I see Ja Morant, and I know the dynamics when you have a family who's putting children through private schools, who's breaking their neck so their children can have a better life, and their children are so desperate to be like, I want to be down. I want to hang out with the hooligans. And it's unfortunate, right? And so when I was talking about the years where I went to so many weddings, and 21 and 25 was just so many weddings. And everybody's like, dang, where you going every week at a wedding? And even now in my later years, because of the social economic group of people I hang out with, I went to a bunch of weddings here in my late 30s. Why? Because that group of people, your elevation in life, and I know men always don't believe this, they don't hang out with single men. They don't. Half the two friends I know that are in the 100 Black Men of Austin, and in this other groups that are prestigious groups, Urban League and in engineering groups and making a ton of money. They hang out with other married people in the same economic status, the same groups, and they tend to be what? Married and religious. I know y'all don't want to believe this, but you can go look up the data. The average person in America is having less kids, but if they're Jewish, they're Muslim, ultra conservative is something the category they put, but it means evangelical Christian. They're having on average 3 to 4 kids. Why? Because the money, the systems, and the environment. Part of why I wanted to do this is our generation, and I'll be careful. I can tell y'all, think about these things in context. 20% of all white people are 65 years old or older. So you're talking about a group of people who just had longer to live, invest, buy homes, have assets. Their numbers are going to be different. The median age of Black people is 33. The median age of Hispanic people is 32. The past 4 years, Hispanic people have a 13.7, 13.9% increase in wealth. What does that mean? They just were able to track how many of them were buying homes and starting businesses and having assets and buying what? Insurance, life insurance. My friend sells life insurance to Latino people and does very well. He does very well. Because they get to America and be like, wait a minute, what if he died? If Jose died, what we if Enrique died? Exactly. They know the math. It's just easy math. Let's just go ahead and pay this and get it moving. Our people are having more of a struggle. And I will say 2018, let me go honest, 2019 to 2022 was the biggest wealth transfer in our lifetimes. It just was, right? It just was. And some of y'all are paying attention now. Some of y'all are like, I can't even afford a house. Some of y'all complaining about cars still, and you completely missed. There was a 3-year window where people were selling courses. They were moving across the country from California to New York. They moved to new places. They bought homes for cheap. A giant wealth transfer just happened. And some people talk about house hacking and other things. But a lot of our people are behind the step because we want to be entertained so badly and controversy so bad that we miss the bus, right? Now, I don't think it's completely closed on us. I think for the next year, this year, credit's going to be juicy. The markets are going to be juicy. I think the stock market is going to be stagnant the next 5 years. I'm not the complete stock market expert on that. It's just a lot of the data I'm reading. It's just going to kind of be stagnant. But again, ask Diamond Dave or other people on that. My biggest thing on this is there's levels to this. And if you let yourself get wrapped up in the entertainment and controversy as your number one thing, like that's your go-to every day, you got to be entertained nonstop. It's got to be controversial. It's got to be noisy. It's got to be loud every day at your house, at your home, and what you're doing. That is not a recipe for wealth, and that is not a recipe for business. Now, what do I mean? I've done several videos. I've even posted videos on the wall where the guys, like, guys who've been in the business, trucking business for 10 years and they still ain't got no money. It's not the business, it's you. Right? I keep telling y'all, 99% of what you'll learn in this experience, whenever you start a business, you're doing stock market investing, you're doing any kind of thing you want to, it's you. Your temperaments, your habits, they flow over to your whatever you're doing, whether it's start a business, a job, work. You ever meet somebody, they always switching jobs. They always losing a job. They don't know. I don't know what happened. What happened? I remember somebody was 34 times in a row late at Lowe's. And on the 35th time, they took him in the back and fired him. Sir, he still was shocked. Like, what? Sir, you were late 34 times. Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Sir, you were late 34 times. It has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with the manager's not like you. On document, on record, you were late 34 times. How you do anything is how you do everything, right? Even when we talk about, I just put it this way. I don't want to pick on nobody in particular, but they're doing a lot of promo for this person. And the community has responded and kind of blackballed this person. And I get it. You know what I mean? We were on a hiatus of scammers and we're just talking bad about scammers. But what happened is people really didn't pay attention to Don't invest in things you don't understand. And whenever you deploy money, it requires a certain amount of energy and focus. For whatever reason, we have a lot of people think, well, I get the money, I can do whatever I want with the rest of my time and don't pay any attention to it. That's not how that works. That's not how that works, right? She said, raising kids around Pookie and them will give you high blood pressure. Oh, for sure. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, Black people we love, listen, Ja Morant, this if I was his PR team person, and I know this sounds controversial and 180 from what y'all think he should do, I would set him up for the summer talking about gun safety. Now hear me out. Hear me out. I would put him at the surveillance, the guys that are survival guys and the fire guns training groups and fire gun safety groups. I would put him through all that. And I'd have lots of PR pictures of him learning gun safety and him teaching the kids about gun safety. Because what it ultimately comes down to is he's a Black person with guns. And for whatever reason in our mind, our marketing and TV marketing, that means bad. Boo, that's bad. Even though you could be a legal gun owner, even though you live in a state that's open carry, when you're a Black person talking about guns, they're like, you have a gun? Do you feel like you need a gun? Yes, I'm a woman. I feel like I need a gun. I need a force multiplier. I'm not about to go fight no grown man out here for nothing. A car, a purse, anything. Yes, I need a gun. So I would NRA style put him beside some gun advocacy groups, some moms for responsible gun ownership groups. I would do the 180. I would do the 180. I would have him out there in polos and t-shirts at golf classics and charity events that donate to gun safety. Cause then we turn the story around. What's the problem with him having a gun? The NBA don't know. What's the problem with him having a gun? He ain't shot nobody. He's just goofy. Right? So that's what I would do with his PR team, but that's another conversation. I'm not ready for that. I really ain't. Exactly. It's like $192 million. Let me tell you, even if I was 23 years old, I'd be like, lock me in the house, put all my gym equipment in the 3-car garage and the basketball court in the back. I'm not leaving. Don't call me. Or I'm gonna go be in Europe where I can hide. I'm gonna be in Europe. Call me when it's time for me to come back for training camp. That's when you call me, because I'm gonna be gone. Because clearly he don't know how to act, right? So what does a lot of that have to do with the title about controversy and entertainment and how much we like it? When it comes to business, okay, a lot of y'all are missing the components that I'm talking about. So there is a controversial thing going on right now. There's a young lady who is Muslim, her husband, and she's African American. Okay. And she may be from the islands or whatever, but she's African American, just for the sake of argument. And so she's got the garb on. It's very beautiful. It's very nice. And she's running ads about Airbnb. Now, somebody already made a series of videos on her saying this is all a scam, this is all fraud, yada, yada, yada. And what I laughed is, not laughing because it's wrong for people to scam. What I'm laughing about is she's marketing not to us. Let me just make that clear. She's not marketing to us. She is marketing to the money that the Muslim community, Indian community has. She's marketing to the other people community. She ain't marketing to us. And people think, well, she must be marketing to Black people because she's like, no, she's not talking to us. She's not talking to us. And that's the part I want y'all to understand is sometimes people aren't talking to us. They're talking to others. There's also a Jewish guy who comes on a lot talking about the Jewish phenomenon and Jewish business. And he literally went viral because Kanye West made comments about the Jewish people. And he just happened to put a video out and was like, Jewish secrets. Boom. He went viral, right? Why does that matter? Because controversy doesn't stop you. People trying to blackball you or cancel you doesn't stop you. If you actually are a legitimate business owner who is taking the money and putting it into more business projects, you're going to be fine. Right? You're going to be just fine. Like, this is something people don't really want to talk about because it's on that line of controversy. It's controversial. You can't blackball anybody, right? You can't cancel anybody unless they desire so greatly, like Ja Morant, to be down. They got to be on the internet. They got to be the Black people Highlander. Now, what do I call the Black people Highlander? There can only be one, right? You start talking about credit. Well, this girl's a lot in credit. Like, dude, there's 7,000 to 10,000 credit repair people. What are you talking about? There's 7,000 to 10,000 companies. We can't have the Highlander mentality. There can be only one, right? Funding companies. I brought on a Black man from Baltimore area talking to you about his funding company. He's funding projects all over the United States. You got to get out of this mentality of the Highlanders. There can only be one. Even with the Muslim girl doing the Airbnb, right? It's a Latino lady tearing her down. And that's why I was trying to get y'all to understand, like, she not marketing to us. She not talking to us. And the people, let those people determine if they want to keep working with her, right? Let them determine that. And that's a problem, right? Because collaboration is a great thing. Collaboration is great. When you get people on the team and working together, you can move further, for sure. Every day and all day, and y'all know that, right? That's the crazy part, D. He has a father. He has uncles. But we do have Black people who experience what? The fun uncles that ain't really never done nothing in life, and they just living vicariously through you, right? We all have those, okay? So the majority of people are going to have a job. A job. That's what they're going to have. They're going to have a job. Now, I'm going to push you to have the most highest paid job. That's the thing I'm going to recommend to you, because you're going to start getting in different rooms via your pay. And people hate this kind of conversation, but it's the truth. Like, if you're a janitor, you're going to be in a room with other janitors. You're going to be in people in your economic sphere. The more money you make, the natural tendency is for people to self-sabotage or find a reason to kind of go back and be more comfortable. Let me just let you know, as an adult, there is no comfort forever, right? You may have 2 to 5 years that are super fun and comfortable, but in order to be in general life, right? In general in life is filled with uncomfortable moments where you have to grow. And so that is what a lot of y'all are learning now, because a lot of people went course crazy. They went and bought all these courses. They went and I learned about that. That's the only thing I hear often, which cracks me up, is, oh, I learned about Toro business and this business. Again, it's a lot of people saying, I know something. Knowing something and doing something are two different things. So what you know about it? Are you making money from it? Right? There's some people like, oh, I know about podcasts. I know about these businesses. I know about trucking. Okay, were you in trucking? Did you make money from trucking? So you're just one of those people thinking you know something. I get it, but that's one of those things, right? So you have the job, you're making a certain amount of money, and you want to take that spillover money and have this passive income life, this wife of leisure life, this enjoying yourself life, right? You know what I'm saying? And what happens is people start a side business or a side hustle, not realizing that you only got so many hours in the day. You only have so much time, and you're going to have to collaborate with people, right? You're going to have to work with people. You're going to have to hire people at some point in that journey. A lot of people are like, well, this little thing I'm doing on the side makes me out 2-3 grand. Well, yeah, because you can only give it so many hours a day. If you actually put someone else on it, right? With a full attention, 40 hours a week on it, that being their job, right? You'll get more returns out of it. And this is why people start YouTube channels and start podcasts and, oh, I'm burnt out, because you're trying to do too many things. You're trying to go to work, you're trying to carve an hour out. At best, I'm gonna tell you like this, at best, you're gonna make an extra $1,000 to $3,000 a month on a side project. At best, because you just don't have the capacity or energy to focus. Now, an extra 30 grand a year ain't gonna hurt nobody, right? What we've had though in the pandemic is people got on YouTube and got on Instagram and got a little juice. They were like, hey, this is great. Now the pandemic numbers ain't the same because people in and out the house, right? And so what they have to learn at this point, and this is this past week I listened to a bunch of articles from people, interviews from people, is they're going to have to collaborate in order to get their face everywhere, to get their ads everywhere, to get that extra 1,000, 3,000 people as their customers. They're going to have to do what? They're going to have to go. And again, this is, if we're talking about media, just for sake of argument, affiliates, events, coaching, speaking, ebooks, courses, they're going to have to put some effort in, right? trying to get yourself booked on podcasts, trying to get yourself booked at events and speaking engagements, and also looking for just doing the activity instead of having the time to create takes you down. It just does. It takes you down. So in this in this conversation, I want you to really think about, when I did the last video, I asked you, do you have enough money to pay someone to do this for you? Do you have enough income to pay an employee to help you grow in these areas, to help you have 40 extra hours a week? That's really how you got to look at this. Is this person going to give me an extra 40 hours a week of my time back, my energy back, right? The reason a lot of these businesses fail, people say lack of funding. It is the case, but really it's because the business owner is expecting too much from too little. There has to be a patience and a flow. There has to be a patience and a flow, right? So part of why I talk about that, even when I talked about building one house a year, people really want to get in real estate. They want to do all these flips and they want to be hopping and jumping out of cars. And I'm like, listen, between your job, your actual day job, and the extra pocket money you have enough to like buy a land lot and build a ground from house up construction, you're going to do about one project a year, depending on the full-time job. And you're going to need some help, right? Even when people tell me, oh, I want to do YouTube, Ericka, I want to do this. Cool. I tell them all the things they need to do. They go, well, how can I do less than that? That's their first response to me is, well, how can I do just this? I'll say, hey, you need to do steps 1 through 3. Oh, well, how can I just do steps 1 and 2? You can't. That's just it. Like you can do a half-ass job for sure, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. That's just the truth, right? Because again, a lot of times you see me talking about funding and you see me talking about credit repair, and we worked out with our partnership with our people. So again, you can still text the number 512-348-2192. You could text ready or trade lines. Why am I so serious about you guys getting funding? Because, and I'm gonna just use them again as a whooping class. I hate to do it, but Ja Morant's hanging around people that are not giving him any pushback. Why? Because they don't have nothing in motion for themselves. You think if their friends have something to lose, they're gonna be on Instagram Live in traffic, driving distracted traffic? Listen, I've done YouTubes on the road here, and I got in a little car accident. Y'all guys saw it, a biker hit me, right? If his family and friends had things going on, and again, to a degree, you want to support your child, you want to be there on the court. Kevin Durant's mom is very much a son, husband, mom relationship. She on the court every game. She kissing him. She doing all too much, really. He even said in the interview that he broke up with his fiance because he just didn't know how to love appropriately, and that's because that mama. But let me back up from there a little bit. The problem is these people don't have motion going on in their life. They own traction, they own stuff to do, in their own life. And that's why they're letting him do bad behavior. Now, when I talk about hard money and I talk about investing in businesses and hiring people, the first thing people say was, Ericka, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money, Ericka. Listen. So if you don't got no money, let's refigure out why we don't have money. Why don't we get a piece of paper out and rechart our steps the last 2 to 3 years? That's really the biggest part is really a self-assessment and charting out where we want to be. If Ja Morant tells me, I really want to just be a 30 for 30 story and play basketball on the weekends and like coach children and tell them how great I was once, I would be like, okay, he told me what's going on. He told me what his goal is. All right, he want to be a 30 for 30 special. That's cool. Let him do that, right? But if you don't know what you're trying to do, if you don't have a clear path for the next 5 years, then people make these kind of decisions. They make these bad decisions. And so part of why I'm talking about funding is because when you have other people on your team around you with some motion or a purpose, if you want to put it that way, a different word than motion, a purpose, they're not going to let you get everybody off purpose. They're not going to let you do it. They're going to be like, wait a minute, that ain't part of our purpose. They're going to be like, stop the ship. And so when I talk about hard money and I talk about credit repair and I talk about funding, I talk about it from the perspective that so many people give me the story of, if I only had 50K, if I only had 100K in funding, things would be different. I would be doing this. I would be doing that. And my response to them is like, well, let's get you that funding. Let's get you the number. Let me show me what you've been studying. Show me that you're going to invest the time. Show me that you're going to invest the energy, right? Show me, because other people have invested the time, the energy, yada yada yada, etc. They've invested it, right? And a lot of times, what you see out here in YouTube and Instagram, they had a hot. Anybody can have a hot 1 to 3 years. It's the same as football. It's the same as basketball. There is a lottery mentality with sports that we just can't. We gotta be in sports, right? Everything's gotta be sports, right? It's a quick lottery mentality. It's a quick entertainment. It's controversial. We can talk about it. Um, we don't find that same level of excitement and engagement with money. Like, we always talk about getting the money, but when you tell your family and friends, hey, do A, B, and C in this order, they don't like that. They don't like that. Right? I watched a lot of podcasts this past week where people were like, hey, man, have you told your family about event planning? You told your family about an event business? You told your family about the stock market? You told your family about flipping real estate, buying real estate? He's like, they all say the same answer. They tell their family and friends, and they kind of just go, oh, okay. They don't have interest. They don't have that same passion. They don't have that same hunger. They just want you to give them the money. And what I tell y'all in response is, you just have to start taking action. The fact that I started taking action on some construction projects, let my family see it, actually see the project. They were like, well, we can do that here too. Oh, now all the years of talking and convincing and, hey, we could go do this, that didn't matter. It's the physically seeing it, touching it, seeing it, it changed their mindset. And this is what a lot of y'all gonna have to do. You're gonna have to physically walk and talk what you say you are. I have friends who have gone 180 into CrossFit. They into CrossFit and keto. Okay. When we go eat with them, it's CrossFit and keto. If Ericka, you're not talking about eating this keto beef, this grass-fed butter, they ain't trying to hear it, right? And sometimes y'all gonna be like, well, I don't want to hang out with those people. But I respect those type of people, because they realize their whole life has to be revolving around this thing. And that's this part about sports and business that I like. If you're going to be a baseball player, a basketball player, a football player, this is your life. When you ask why these players lose all their money, because their whole life has been this sport, and no one told them, hey, along the way, let us keep feeding you these books. Let us keep feeding you these investing principles, so that when this is over, because this will end, you can turn your 180 degree to investing or business. Who do I believe without a shadow of a doubt would have been a billionaire in a year or two? Kobe Bryant. If Kobe Bryant did not die in that helicopter crash, we would have been celebrating him, ringing the bell on the NASDAQ. I believe Wall Street. I believe that 100%. I mean, when he had one of his last interviews on CBC, he said, I want to be remembered as a great investor. Let that man live another 40 years. Robert Smith, who? Oprah, who? LeBron James, who? We'd have been talking Kobe Bryant nonstop in stories. Nonstop in stories. We've been talking about Kobe Bryant as an example of a successful investor. We've been talking about, again, what did Kobe do? He went and found the best in business and investing, sat in the room with him, was like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. That life, it's a turn. It's a 180 degree turn. It's a 180 degree turn of your life. So when people tell me, hey, Ericka, I want to get 100 to 150,000 in funding, and I want to do what, right? Like, I ask them, what are you trying to do? And I'm not talking about just credit cards. That's why I did the funding business course. I'm not just talking about credit cards. Everybody's going to tell you, oh, you know what you do? Get your LLC or get your business credit card from Navy Federal. Navy Federal ain't even a business bank, y'all. It's Navy Federal made that component. It just gave it. They don't even have in banking business reps. You have to call the regional person. They don't even have it in office anymore. They don't have any of the branches. All of it's online. And so when you realize that that's not even their focus. They're just dicing out credit cards, which is great for the community. And people start telling me about Navy Federal. I laugh a little bit, because I'm like, you can do that at any bank. You can do that at hundreds of other banks. You literally just have to have your personal credit not be a dumpster fire and head over. But nobody wants to hear that part, right? Because that would require sacrifice, collaboration, a plan, a budget, right? Because even if I get you the 100 to 150,000 in credit cards, and what I really want you to get is unsecured loans, personal loans from banks, and take that money and make it move, That's the stuff nobody wants to hear, that part, because that really takes patience and flow, right? The investor group we're with, the apartment investor, the reason they can keep buying, they bought 30, I think it's 37 now, 33 or 34 apartment complexes and mobile home parks, is every one of those people in those groups are like 80% of them are tech people. So they'll have an extra 50K, 60K, 70K, right? Then you'll have the other 80 people that are in that 650 people number who are business owners. And they don't have time to sit here and dig through every little number and every little thing. And they just send them 50K check and keep it pushing, right? So a lot of y'all are talking about funding, and you're talking about it from the perspective of like, oh, credit cards. And I'm like, you're missing the whole point of the business. You're missing the whole point of how do you want this to look, right? Are you willing to have $100,000 tied up for 3 months to 24 months? Are you willing to have that happen to you? If you're not, you really aren't really ready for business, and you don't want to hear that part. You dig what I'm saying? And this was, somebody asked me about live events, and I'm just going to touch on it very quickly. We had a lot of people do courses. We just had an event with Terry just did an event in Dallas. I don't know if it's 500 people, 600 people. Somebody going to let me know how many people was there total who paid full price to be there, right? Because people want the in-person. So a lot of people are thinking, well, I just want to do online. I just want to sell online courses. I never want to leave my house. I want to be a hermit. If you want to do that route, guess what? You need to spend. You're going to have to spend on ads. That's just period, right? 3 or 4 people who have great investment groups. They have stock trading groups, Aristotle Investments. He literally, like, every week I need 1 million eyes on my page a week on Instagram. And he pays. So when he showed his numbers, 70% of his numbers were literally paid traffic. And people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. I don't have to pay. This is a free platform. No, that's an old game. That don't work no more. People trying to sell you on something that, yeah, it's organic and it's going to take time. Do you have a full-time person, social media manager on staff that's going to help you push organic all month and all week long and all year long? Most of you don't. So in that response, when somebody said, oh, live events, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just telling you, right now, on average, the in-person live events, this is the number, the 3 numbers I'm seeing, really the 4 numbers I'm seeing most, $300 and $1,200 for yeah, exactly. $300 and $1,200, which is usually the VIP section or whatever, right? And so those people will have about 100 people come to their event. When it's around $300, I see people put about 100, 200 people in it. So you're talking about they're going to make each event $30,000 to $120,000 each event. This is gross, not net. Now they're going to do 4 events a year, right? 1 a quarter. So that person just off events will make $120,000 to $480,000 a year gross. Now, what's the point of the event? The event is to get you there, and then 9 times out of 10, people are going to say you what? On the mentorship. It's $25K, right? That's the going number for lots of people. I don't want you to go to an event and be like, Ericka, they try to charge $25K. Baby, that's the going number. 20 and 25K is the going number. When you start getting out here and investing in yourself to get into higher levels of conversation with people, you will notice that is the going number. 10K for a day. Grant Cardone's 5K to be at the headquarters all day, running the grand, look at the staff, hear some talk, take some photos, right? That's a going number, right? So they have the event to do the upsell or do partnerships, right? That's what's happening. So you can apply this to just about anything. I mean, Terry, the electrician in Atlanta, plumbers, roofers, they have construction events. They have all kind of conferences. Now let's push the numbers up a little bit higher. When you go on the real estate side of things, not just courses, not just like general knowledge, like deep dives, you're talking about $2,500 to $5,000. Those are the averages. What I thought was funny is some people would message, oh, well, if I buy this ticket for $2,500, you're going to cover my hotel and my food and no, that's the going rate. $2,500 is on the low side. Most real estate investment events right now are 5K and 10K. I'm talking about deep dive, high level, get your money, get your funding, get you rolling out the door. I think Terry's event was 6K per person. And these are people who already in her class and paid maybe 5, 10K to be in there, and then they pay 6K to get in there again in person. Why? Because stock market is life changing. Let's just keep it that point, right? So If you know the average going rate is 2,500, 5,000, let's say I put 30 people in an event. 30 people, right? On average, between those two prices, I'm gonna make 75,000 to 150,000 per event, right? Right? Let's say I have that number up to 50. Let's push it up a little bit. Let's say I have 50 people come and pay me 2,500. That's 125,000. If I have 50 people come pay me 5,000, that's 250,000. Now let's say I do 4 events a year. That's $500,000 to 1 point, well, 1 point, just 1 million. $500,000 to $1 million a year off events. And then at the event, what's happening? Partnerships, growth, mentorship. Them 10K, them 5K, them 7K, them 20K numbers I was mentioning. So when people sit here and look me in my face like, oh, you don't have to do events to sell courses online. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. I laugh because I'm telling you, people are paying for the in-person experience. Same reason they go to football games, same reason they go to Super Bowl, same reason they go to soccer local, same reason they go to baseball games, same reason I'm going to go see Deion Sanders play in Texas with all the gear on, you know. Like, we're paying for the experience and the connection, okay? And you'll see more of this, right? So there was a couple, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't think they were that hot on the internet. They really don't have huge numbers on the internet or Instagram. They don't have huge numbers. So, but they literally just did an event and 500 people came and paid them like maybe what, $600, $699 per person. And I was like, what? Because the way it was marketed was very quiet. It wasn't a strong push of marketing, but it was strong enough. And I looked up and I was like, well, damn, they just made like maybe 300,000 off of this one event, right? And then you're not even talking about the countless JV or real partnerships in the room, right? Now, why am I bringing this up? Why does this matter? The controversy aspect that you guys, it makes money, and I'm not gonna knock it. The rap TV thing, Kev on stage was talking about how they make 50 million a year in revenue because we're quick to click on controversial, lowbrow, low vibrational information all the time. If we took 1/4 of that energy and put it into true business funding, true business starting, and learning how to hire people, you know, not just every 2 years quit something because it's not the hot thing anymore, we would be much further as a people and as just life. And unfortunately, I could break it down a lot of this stuff every day. I can do a brain dump onto YouTube, because that's what a lot of these are, brain dumps, when I get off mastermind meetings or calls and tell y'all what actual people are doing right now. But at the end of the day, you have to take action, right? You have to decide, I'm going to do a 180. You have to decide, I'm not going to hang out with the losers no more. You have to have a Ja Morant moment where you realize, hey, everybody's doing this at 25. It doesn't mean that, oh, they're getting married too young, they're having families too young. It's kind of a natural progression of life. Now, you can start life at 50, you can start life at 45, you can do all kind of stuff later in life. Don't let me knock you. But it's different because there's different seasons of life, right? So my biggest and best argument to you guys with this is, you go find you some nerds. Go find you some nerds. If you're over 25, and I know people think I'm being ridiculous, but if you're over 25, go find you some nerds. Because when I meet people and they're over 25, and their response every weekend is like, where the hoes at, where the party at, where the excitement, where the whatever's at, I'm bored. Like, any of that energy, I don't want it near me. Like, I'm quick. Like, people are like, let's go to Atlanta, let's go to Miami, let's go to Las Vegas, over and over again. I'm like, ugh. Get that energy away from me. And that's not because I'm being old or I'm acting like a fuddy-duddy. That's just, that's not a normal energy, right? There's not a balance to that. I wouldn't want that person around me long term. Just gonna say that like that. That's the best way I can say that, in the nicest way. I'm gonna read some of y'all comments and I'm gonna wrap it up. But I want y'all to understand, like, you don't have to start a million businesses. You literally could do this media stuff here. You literally can read the newspaper to some of these people on this internet. And I know y'all think I'm joking about that, but I'm so very serious. There are several people who are just out here reading the internet to y'all and making a ton of money on YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you're complaining, Ericka, I'm not getting enough shine, I done did this, I done did that, I took your course, I flipped around, did this, I did that. I want y'all to understand, real estate trapper, pay attention to what he said in one of his videos. He says he has 72, not 7, not 2, but 72 real estate automation channels. And he said they're different topics, but think about that, 72 before one hit and made 60K. I'm not telling y'all to go make 72 channels. That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is deep dive in whatever the one thing is you want to hammer. If you are less at Diamond Day, you want to talk about stocks, and man, I want you in them stocks. In them stocks, I joke and tell them, like other people, I understand why people have the stock picking groups. I understand why they have the mentorship groups. It's a mindset play, right? It's a mindset, and you're building the community of people you want to interact and talk to on a daily basis. Because if I had to go out and talk to just all kind of randos all day, I would be exhausted. Period. Right? Like, I understand Arizona Investments and all them doubling, if not tripling down on the stock market. He has a group where they pay $45 a month for stocks talk in there. And I think he has a crypto group. They pay like $20 a month. I was in a group, I was paying $150 a month. And they they basically did this. They said, here's our screen. Here's what we're investing in. This is why we're investing in this particular crypto. This is why we're doing this. This is when we're doing this. This is when we're going to get out of this. If these things happen on these markers and indicators, we're going to do this. The same way I just invested, I think $9 a month to be on the autopilot that follow the Nancy Pelosi trades. Like it just spits me out what I need to know. I'm willing to pay that, right? Because my main focus is this media thing, right? And so when I hire people to work on the media, when I hire the social media manager, when I hire the engagement person, when I hire the PR person, and then that allows them all to do their job, now I can do what? I can stay creating, or I can stay what? Looking at my projects for building real estate. Because that's where I started all this. That's why I got into all this. That's why I wanted to do it. Y'all know that for years. Real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate. Right? I watched too many people have 1 or 2 properties and their life is 100% different than majority of people my same age. Right? I've watched people have 3, 4 rental properties. And anytime their grandma needed money, anytime their mama needed money, anytime their wife wanted to go on a vacation, anytime they want to do something, they was ready to go. Because it wasn't a big deal. Because other assets were at play. And there was flow and there was patience. Does that make sense? I hope it did. But yeah, when you have one thing, hammer that one thing. Hammer it down. Black nerd. I'm serious. I'm really serious. Find you nerds. Find you people who plan events and find nerds. There's a group of friends I know that are 6 people. They're all adults. They all not married. All don't have kids. They do about 6 ski trips a year. And I mean, those things are organized. They don't even play. They be like, boom, 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 boom. I look up on Facebook every couple of weekends. They out there skiing. They got a different house. They had the hot tub. They doing this. Like, it's, find you some nerds. Find you some nerds and people in life that are kind of go somewhere and do something. Same with, what was the thing I just saw? I was talking about online. Dang. I lost it that quick. But yeah, I'm serious about that. Nerds that can code. Nerds, period. Because what you start realizing, all the people that were cool, when you get about 25, a lot of them people, it ain't cool no more. The way they cut up in high school ain't funny no more. The way they act out, the way they got a bunch of kids, baby, your daddies, that stuff ain't cool. They done been back and forth to jail. You looking at them like, baby, it's time to get right. After 25, you still trying to find where to party at. Yeah, I don't know about that. If you have a home-based business, you have no business applying for business. This is the thing, business talk with Kay. I have, to this day, I will still get on the phone with people, and they will give me pushback when I'm like, you need a virtual office address, you needed this, you needed that. They still push back. I'm like, no one, even if this business takes off, let's say we get you business funding. You run an ads on Facebook. You run an ad $150 a day. Your business take off. Where do people gonna work for you at? Everybody in your group gonna work remote? When do you know to hire? When do you know to fire? When do you know to scale? These are things that people don't want to focus on, but that's a whole other conversation. Don't go into debt if your business can't even make $50. And a lot of people tell you, well, my business can make more money if I have funding, right? That's the number one thing people say to me. And I'm like, cool, we're gonna see. People too worried about funding and not the business. Man, I tell you, if you only knew. LeBron would be a billionaire. This isn't a LeBron versus Kobe. I'm just saying the mindset. like the mindset. He was very much focused. Let me see what else y'all got real quick. Nah, we ain't talking about that today. Morant wants to be a crash test dummy. What? I don't know. If and again, it's almost like, it's sad. It just is. Yeah, just wanting to be being too much. Do you think some people that were, ooh, this is a good question. Good question. Let me read this out to y'all. Do you think some of the people that you were told not to associate with when you were younger can turn their lives around and become similar to you? You may have a really honest answer. No. And here's why I am. Now that I am older, just being really honest, now that I am older and I look back on all the friends, good so-called friends, or people that our parents did not want us around, it wasn't that the person couldn't be a good person. It was their environment. If they had I'll just put it this way. I came from a family like, you can't sleep over people's houses. You're not doing sleepovers at anybody's house. You know why? Because you may show me a nice, sweet child, but her mama may be reckless. Her daddy may be dangerous. Her daddy may invite other people over the house. I'm not there to understand who is at the house, so you're not doing no sleepovers. And I was okay with that. Now as an adult, I'm even more okay with it because the way children be getting touched, things, inappropriate things be happening, all kind of stuff, right? 9 times out of 10, when your parents say don't hang out with that person, it was because the environment around you. It's rare that they're just a hater. I remember one guy's, my friend's, one of her friends from high school, her father was like, oh, don't hang out with those girls, because our mom had just got divorced, whatever. Oh, don't hang out with their mom. Their mom just got divorced, and it's probably not good to sleep over their house and come over and all this. Just weird stuff, right? He's like, those kids ever ask you for money? And what was funny is the daughter had to say, no, Dad, they have more money than us. Pissed the dad off to this day. Now later we come back around, come to find out the dad had said, oh, those girls are probably going to get pregnant or something. Who knows, right? They don't have a dad at home, right? And this is right before her mom got remarried. And so now fast forward to end of high school. The girl's pregnant. Me and my sister aren't, and we're going off to college. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have to have a really strong hater parent to get you away from good kids. And that's the funny part, because if you really looked at our family, you looked at our situation, the cops, the cookouts we had over our house, like, no, her dad was just like a hater. I don't know why. He just was a military hater. He was less ranked than my mom. He was a weirdo, right? But 9 times out of 10, no. 9 times out of 10, it's the environment, right? Like, my sister knew a family that had 8 kids. They were living in the hood, but they were on this like voucher program that allowed their kids to go to the high school that we went to. Like their mom, the older siblings drove all the way across town so they can go to school. Well, you look at their family, the 2 girls we knew that played sports, that were very active in school, that really worked hard to finish school. One was doing ROTC, one was doing all the sports. They were twins. They were the first girls in their whole family to graduate high school. They grandma hadn't graduated. They mama hadn't graduated. They 3 older siblings older than them had never graduated. They were out there having babies, and beautiful girls, beautiful family, just could not get right. And so looking back, when my mom and them was like, nah, don't hang out with them. Every person she said, it was downright spot on. I mean, there was one young man, my mama told my brother, do not hang out with him. That boy gonna die. Just his behavior, how he acts. He's rambunctious. He's bucking at adults. It's dangerous. And not even a month later, that boy went and tried to rob somebody's house, and the guns are shooting. They shooting. Everybody's shooting. Everybody lives except him. Everybody, there's like, this is how bad people have no gun practice, right? They're just shooting in the air. They're shooting through a house. They're shooting up, and nobody dies except that one boy. I won't say his name, no disrespect. And my mom was like, I told you. How do you go in a house shooting everybody? Everybody's shooting, got guns, and you the only person get shot and die. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason our parents tell us this. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want y'all to say, well, Ericka, you trying to say people from bad environments can't change, can't do. You can, but it's a one damn 80. It's a 180. I'm talking about you from the hood, you in the bad environment. I mean, you're talking about your clothes has to change. Who you talk to have to change. What you study has to change. If I take you from Philly and then I drop you at Harvard, if I take you from Philly and I drop you at Brown, if I take you from Philly hood and I drop you at Rice University in Houston, like you're going to feel out of place, and you might do very dangerous things like Ja Morant to try to fit in somewhere. So 9 times out of 10, no. 9 times out of 10, if your parent could see the environment the child was coming from, this is a real thing. You can look at a lot of these people and see their parents and already know. And I hate to say that, but when we talk about who you're making babies with, what neighborhood do you live in, it's almost so you're gonna have to 180 force yourself out of that diagram. Almost 180. So that was a great question. Thank you for that one. I mean, again, it's almost like someone would have to be your shadow and shadow you and mimic you. So there's a whole lot of people from two-parent households acting dumb and clueless. Sometimes it depends. It depends. It's a combination. Let me see what y'all said in here. Last couple stuff. Oh Lord, y'all got a lot of stuff. This is also associated with bad parenting and culture. My mom was very strict on who we hung out with. Yep. All the people my dad told me not to hang around with growing up, they all are down a bad life, down and bad. Yeah. I mean, your parents are seeing something that's just a combination of life. Same here. Never permitted sleepovers where my kids pay attention. You will see things. Don't ignore the signs. Exactly. I can't think of anybody my parents warned me about as a child that has shown themselves to be worth knowing as an adult. Woo! Yeah, no. But that's the truth. I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny. I mean, I remember the girl that bullied me so badly and profusely. I went to the gas station when I was home in my hometown. I'm paying, I'm just going, I'm grabbing stuff, I'm paying. I look up, it's her. And it's that awkward, like she know it's me and I know it's her. And I just go, hope you have a great day. And walk out the door, right? Because you may say, oh, Ericka, she doesn't remember you, you're just a kid. Nah, she remembered me. She had them eyes like, damn. Now, there's nothing wrong working at a gas station. There's nothing wrong with that. If you got a job, as a job. But at this point in our 30s, most of the people I went to school with, they had the hospital working as a nurse. They a teacher. They got a house. They doing things, right? I'm not saying working at a gas station is not doing something, but it's not a career, okay? Unless you're the manager. Mine's the opposite. My mom told me to stay away from them because they weren't on the right path. I defended them and still hung out. Now they're married with homes and look down on me now. It might have been the group, but I'm gonna tell you that's rare. That's real rare. I put fear of God in my son. If he's Ja Morant, you can tell Josh's father is more of a friend than a father, looking like Usher stunted. I mean, at the end of the day, when you don't got no emotion and your child is your emotion, who's telling their child no? Right? But if I'm his daddy, shit, the Ball brothers' father, as much as y'all don't like him, he is the goat. Like he done put all that money in real estate, buying warehouses, building them shoe companies that people was making fun of, building them clothes. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like he's the person y'all been laughing about, right? So that's basically what I have for y'all today. I mean, I really want to talk business, hardcore business today, but I saw that Ja Morant thing and I just realized like it's mindset, right? And I know y'all get tired of hearing us talk about mindset. But you will give some of these people out here $1 million and they will pick it up. I know 3 people who made $1 million, lost $1 million, and now they're on the rebuild. I know it because it's happened. It's happened to people like me. It's happened to people I know. They'll make a ton of money, they'll lose it, and they'll be on the rebuild. But if you already have the skills, if you have the knowledge, right? You have the skills, you have the knowledge, you're ready to turn and focus and pivot. It like 1 to 3 years, y'all. I know people hate hearing that. 1 to 3 years is a life changer. I know people hate hearing me talk about it like this, but I'm telling you, if some people in here, they start a service business, they hire 2 employees, they got that thing rolling, the end of the year, their life is different. You've seen people in here when they talk about Tech Tuesday, getting that tech job. Now they're making 120, 150 a year. Their life is different. That little car payment, that little credit card bill that was bothering them, that's paid, that's gone. It's all choices though, right? When people say, oh, Eric, I started this business, but I'm gonna do another business and this, You can do all that, but you need staff. Not you creating 27 businesses that you run, but you create something that you need staff. And you don't even have to do that. You can literally deep dive into one vertical. If you won't be the, and this is the best way I can explain it, y'all, is when everything came out, they're like, Ericka, be on Twitter, be on Instagram, be on this. I'm like, man, fuck that. YouTube all day and all night, right? And slowly but surely, all these other people came to YouTube, right? But the fact that I'm in YouTube is allowed me on different levels of vertical to have 150 affiliate partners, to have events, to do coaching, to do consulting, to do ebooks, to do courses, any of that stuff. I can push and pull anything in that vertical and keep it moving, right? Look, I won't be comfortable losing milk. JPT trades, it's in you or it ain't in you. You need what I'm saying? Like this is the one thing I want y'all to learn, especially when I see people when it talks about, love is hard to come by. I will agree on that. But if you ever meet somebody who had to divorce a person and go start over and marry another person, it's like they just learn. It's literally repetitive behavior. They go out, they bump into somebody, they get with them, and they keep on moving about their life. If you make $1 million, let me be very careful. Let me put it this way. You make $1 million and you lost $1 million. The person that had to make the $1 million, you done ran into too many people. You done ran into too many people. You done been mentored by too many people. You in certain circles. It's nothing but it's like a habit. It's like if I take everything from you today, but you know how to make another $1 million, you can go do it again. Now, if you say, Ericka, I lost a leg, I lost the arm, I got shot. Yeah, it might be hard to come back from losing $1 million. For sure. This is why I did that whole video on Omni and the Hellcat. Once you interact with that many people, it's nothing. It's like, I don't want y'all to be disrespectful. It's really up here, right? Some people crack and lose their mind and jump out windows when they lose money. So I'm not dismissing money. But once you have a skill, JPT trades, like, baby, they can't take that from you. That means you just need to lock in and close the doors for 6 months. Don't talk to nobody. Man, do you know how many people I know right now that are building $1 million projects and they real quiet on Instagram right now? Psh, real quiet. Because the vertical building, like, I'm not out here to convince you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm put it this way. I love being a nerd, quote unquote, big thought words. Cool liquidly. I can't mess with y'all tonight. I also enjoy calculating math, the timelines of. Listen, I get it. I feel you. It's super funny. 1 to 3 years is exactly what I'm focused on. Look up the T-shaped members. Look up T-shaped members if you are unfamiliar with being in demand. PMP term. Yeah, like 1 to 3 years. I'm telling y'all. And here's the issue. 1 to 3 years. Let's say you get that new job, that tech job, you're making all this money, you catch up on all your bills. Oh, I got caught up on all my bills. You're going to spend the next 2 years really trying to be better at your job, trying to get raises at your job. And then you're going to spend the next 2 years like, what can I do with this excess money? So pay the debt off, I pay this other stuff. What can I do with the excess money? That's going to be your mindset. But you got to get to a stage where, I'm making more money. This is great, right? You can't get to like, hey, I'm making more money. Let's go on 27 vacations this year. Yeah, baby. Like, do that on year 5, right? The 1 to 3 year journey is a serious one. So a person had to become, thank you. It's the person you had to become to make $1 million, right? It's who you are and what you learn to get there, right? All right. Listen, Inky, look, there's several people in the real estate field right now who are wheelchairs flipping homes, wheeling up through the front door, checking on the work. I'm not joking. There's 2 black men right now in a wheelchair. They be wheelchairing to the construction sites. It ain't one thing don't stop the show. It really don't, right? So my thing to you is pick the thing. Pick the one thing, right? If it's the job, you like, Ericka, I need to make 128 my job. Cool, make it. And then the spillover from that first job is where you can put that money somewhere. But when people say, oh, I'm gonna start this business and that, like, baby, no, you're not. This is why we say focus on one thing. Like, if your next 90 days is only getting your credit in the right position so that you can get some funding, let's do that. Let's stay real focused on that. And once you do that, then you can go to the next level, right? That's really how that works. There's got to be, right? Even when it comes to people in fitness, people doing these cross country events, people doing these runs, the summer shred. Christian Grumman's like, man, I'm tired of the summer shred. One, he's on steroids, and two, it's hard to shred down like that, right? Um, that's a lifestyle, y'all. That's a straight up lifestyle. 3 years goes by quickly when it goes by so fast. Y'all, we already in the summer of this year, right? So when I'm telling people, hey, yeah, y'all, the rest of the year, A, B, and C is about to happen. Are you ready? People like, well, I'm waiting on the crash. You ain't in no financial position to be a part of no crash. You ain't in no bank situation to get no money off the crash. Stop saying you want to crash. You ain't ready. If it really crashed, you one of the people that's gonna be homeless. It's not the way they're juicing the market right now and juicing these credit lines. It's not gonna be a crash for a good minute. Next year for sure, but not for a good minute. And that's the problem. A lot of y'all are waiting. And again, I tell you the example. Aisha Selden, she was like, I ain't bought a house since 2018. The numbers was crazy. I thought it was going to crash any moment. She didn't come back and buy another property till this year. So that means she took 5 years out of the game, waiting to be right. Right? But she's in a different level. She's got 40 rentals in Philly. She got a multimillionaire house in California and some type of financial office in Philadelphia. You're not in her boat. You can't just sit out and wait. You don't have the money to sit out and wait. You're not even in position yet. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the conversation, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wait till the crash. You're not. Shit. Some of y'all better figure out how to be junk removers from all the people that's going to get kicked out of these houses. Trust me, a lot of these people are just now catching up all these eviction notices. So don't worry. Too glad, man. Y'all, I'm not even trying to be funny. I might have an event in November. But other than that, no, man, like this is a build season. Like I'm not even trying to be funny with y'all. Like the next 3 months, I'm gonna try to be on here, but it's not gonna be often because we're literally like building huge ass projects and we're literally hired staff to just take off all the stuff off my plate. So it really is not gonna be an incentive to do an event till like the end of the year. There you go. Glad it helped. You see anything else? For sure, that'll work. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on the crash, you probably be on Section 8 first. But anyway, you guys, I gotta get on out of here. Wrap up the day. You guys have been wonderful. Listen, good luck. You already know Ja Morant gonna do some more foolishness this summer. You can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. So, anyways, you guys have a great night. It's your girl Ericka, Classic on Blog. Later.